We were just talking about euthanasia. Go for it. You're already being selfish.
Yeah, so I kind of view euthanasia as a good thing, and especially with those already on life support that have deemed themselves ready to go, ready to leave this earth. And once you're fighting to not pull the plug for that person, you've become selfish. You no longer really respect the other person in a way. You're putting your own, compassion in front of how they feel, how they want. Because what they really want to do is to leave this earth with dignity, without any more pain.
Yeah.
Elongating that time that they're on this earth is not giving them any more dignity. It's causing more pain. And once you're at that point of, do I pull the plug, do I not pull the plug? You've already long passed on. You've gone way past the point of selfishness. You are...
Well, that and you're not even concerned about them anymore. It's just I want them, and my religion wants them to be alive. Isn't it a damn shame that you don't even have the right to end? You don't have the right to die.
Exactly.
And so,
the two things that, I guess really the one thing we have control of in our life is to die. We can decide when we want to die.
And whether or not it's illegal, which, for whatever reason, it is illegal.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if it's illegal. If I want to die, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
What are the consequences? Are you going to put me in jail?
Exactly. And that's where I have problems with this whole argument.
And so, even a person who's I have, terminal cancer. I could take further treatment to maybe even have a smallish chance of maybe surviving it. But all that treatment is just going to be a lot of suffering and hurting until I maybe am able to survive. But if I don't, my last few months are just spent in a hospital bed, just eating chemicals in order to maybe survive a bit longer. That's not worth it anymore. Just...
It all depends on what the person decides. But to say that the family is the one that needs to decide, that's wrong. It's the person that needs to... The person that's going through it is one that decides. If they decide they want to go through the treatment, let them go through the treatment. Let them do it. If they decide that if there's even the smallest possibility they pull through here, but in order to get there they have to go through turmoil and pain, let them make that decision.
Yeah.
If they decide not to, if they decide that they want their last months on this, for now, green earth, if they want to live their days without pain, let them do it. Just make the most of the time that you have with them. Because in all honesty, if they have terminal cancer, if they've been given a prognosis, they're going to live probably the same amount of time either way. At least make that time not painful.
Yeah. And to not be able to to be all right, I'm dying. Can I just go right now? Cause this kind of sucks. Can I just go? And for it to be a law that you can't even ask your doctor, it's hey, that whole thing that you're doing, keeping me alive, it sucks. I don't want it anymore. Just stop it. And it's okay, well, I can't. What do you mean you can't? I'm paying for this. I'm paying for your services. And you can't?
Yeah.
So what's going to end up happening is that I'm going to try and kill myself in a much worse way. And maybe end up in, a worse condition. That could have just been here's just the amount that will kill you of morphine.
Right. And that's where you get the odd battle between morals and law. That's when you get into the battle of, are laws really moral? Or are morals lawful?
Should be. That's why they're called moral laws.
Yeah. But as a doctor, that's something I do fear going into. Because, I would like to... I'm interested in radiology, but I'm also interested in oncology, too, in a way. And if I do go down that road, I will come into contact with hundreds of terminally ill patients that I believe that once they get to that point, they do have the right to die. They have the right to assisted suicide or what have you. And to say that they don't have that right, it's stripping a person of their humanity, of their own basic human rights.
Yeah. What was the name of that doctor? Like, they call him Dr. Death or whatever.
Kevorkian?
Yeah. And the fact that, like, people on, like, the life side, like, see him, like, call him, like, Dr. Death or whatever. But at the same time, like, he helped all these people have the ends of their lives. Like, systematically, he's like, first, here's this dose, which, like, knocks you out and makes you go to sleep. Then here's this dose that, like, takes away all your pain. And then here's this dose that, like, will finally kill you. And so, like, here's, like, your last moment systematically made to where it's pretty nice. Or you can sit, like, writhing in a hospital bed until finally it's all over.
Yeah. This might be a bit controversial, but the fact that we give people on death row more dignity to die than we do those that are suffering with cancer, I find just incredibly backwards. Not that I'm in favor of capital punishment, but the fact that through due process, you're giving these people that have committed some heinous crime a right, or you're killing them in such a way that is much more humane than having a cancer patient live out their final days writhing in a bed with pain, pretty much on the verge of unconsciousness from the pain. It seems far more inhumane. Is it the Constitution that says you can't, like, through what is it? Through what right is it?
I don't know.
The
I don't know. I at least was gonna mention that, like, maybe it's just that, like, if this were, like, law talking, law would say it's like, well, we don't like killing. That's why they're in jail in the first place. You know, like, we don't like killing, but if we have to, I guess we'll do it in a humane way. Right. You know, but then whenever it goes to, like, terminally ill patients, it's like, we don't like killing. We don't have to kill them. And so it's like, no, like, let it go.
Cruel and unusual punishment was what I was trying to get at. I don't know why I can't remember that. But yeah, the fact that it's debatable, but that death row inmates are given a cruel and unusual punishment, being their cruel and unusual death, the fact that they have that capability to not have that kind of a death, yet those that have terminal cancer, you could say, are dying a cruel and unusual death. Yeah. Based on law. A law is giving them.
And based on, like, they didn't do anything wrong. They just so happened to have inconvenient cells that expanded too much.
Right.
Or replicated too much, sorry. Yeah. And so your punishment is pain until
death.
You die.
Right. It's medieval, in a way.
Yeah. No, and then that kind of shows, like, where the priorities lie. Like,
right, and that's not to get into political things or anything, but I think that's, like, one of the big arguments of the pro-life movement is that people are so focused on the life, they don't see how life can be torturous.
Yeah.
Especially with regards to this. Because the same people that are fighting the pro-life stance on abortion are also fighting to not have assisted suicide, to have the right to die. And I think it's really hypocritical almost.
Yeah. No, I think I'd rather live a short, awesome life than a very long, very shitty life.
Exactly.
And if I obviously don't have a choice over the quality of my life, but I do have a choice of whether or not I want to live it.
Because a life isn't judged on the number of days you live it. It's how you use those days that you're alive. And for people that, they're forced to live a long life, but a long life of pain, they're not making the most of their life.
Yeah. There's what you said just then was, like, almost word for word translated from, like, a song in Spanish from Ricardo Arjona. It's Señora, no quites años de tu vida. Póngale vida a los años, que es mejor. don't take away years from your life. Like, oh, I'm 40, but I'm saying I'm like 38 or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, don't take years from your life. Put life into the years.
Yeah.
That's better.
Right.
And so if someone wants to, like, oh, well, this is long enough, or like hearing of like old people who are just like, you know what, I'm good. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they just like do their last thing and they're like, I'm good. Like, let me go. No more cancer treatment, no more, or like, no more hospital. Just let me go to my house and be with my family until I die. Because it's great. This is what I've lived my whole life for. And then I have all the people around me that I love. Great. Right. Death is an interesting thing, especially in a culture that focuses so much on both materialism and right now and the afterlife.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the people who value either extreme are not the same people, but I mean, sometimes they are. But you know, the televangelists who
that's
have
what I was getting right
yeah, the private jet or whatever.
Joel Osteen.
Yeah. So like, and you don't have to worry about cough covering anything. This is all like, I already said shitty earlier, so there's no lines here. I mean, but yeah, morally, I did want to talk to you about, since you do know a lot more science than I do, and we talked about it earlier, the bridge between when we stopped being chemicals and started being life. Is there a line there?
I'm sure that there is. And that's something I've been thinking about too. In my cell biology class, we've been talking, about how the cell works. Whenever you really think about it, it's one of the most complex mechanisms imaginable. It's absolutely ridiculous that everything works the way it does in such in some ways, inefficient manner as possible. And it's amazing to me that there was a point in time when we went from being chemicals to being life.
Yeah.
To go from being, I don't know, some fatty acids, some proteins, and some nucleotides, to then somehow wrapping that all together and forming a single cell. From that single cell, it's been expanded upon, and we have life to where we are now. And I don't know how it happened, but I sure am thankful that it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, how it happened, it completely blows my mind. It just had to have been the perfect sunny day.
Well, the difference is that it's not even so much that it perfectly happened, but it's just that, like, the universe works in such a way that is what happens. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, you know, electrons orbit around the nucleus of an atom. Like, that's just how it works. And so because that's how it works, covalent bonds form because two atoms get close to each other, and then the electrons start orbiting both of them. Like, that's not like a random thing or a thing that's supposed to happen, but that's just what happens. And so in the same way, like, more stuff combines and you have like all these acids and nucleotides and whatever, and it's just like the way that the cell works. Correct me if I'm wrong, like, there is no like, oh, like, I'll tell you to go there and you go there. Like, it just happens that way because that is what happens.
Yeah, are you talking about like where things are in the cell, or just how cells operate?
How cells operate.
I mean, in a way, cells operate just based off of their DNA. I mean, certain cells are programmed to do certain things. You have B cells that are programmed to secrete antibodies, and you have phagocytes that are programmed to go and eat bacteria and viruses. Cool. Then you have skin cells, which are designed to secrete keratin and to act as barriers. So you have these programmed cells that do what they do, but on the very basic levels, all cells are the same, except for red blood cells. They don't have a nucleus, but other cells, they're all in their mechanistic way is pretty similar.
Yeah, but like, you know, obviously there's no guy in the nucleus going like, hey, you there, ATP, go over here, and you there, like, that protein over there, go over here. Like, it just happens that way.
In a way, it kind of happens just that way. It's really hard to think about cells and chemistry as just things that happen, because in a way they really just kind of are.
Yeah.
They, whenever you're talking about chemical reactions, the reason chemical reactions happen is because certain molecules hit another molecule in such a way with such intensity that it causes either a portion of one molecule to break off and another portion of the molecule to bond. Mm-hmm. And it all happens by chance. You increase the temperature, or the heat, increases temperature, causes more molecular motions, which then causes more bonds. And everything is just kind of by chance in a way. Everything is random. It happens, but it's random. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the way it is with the cell. Things happen in certain areas of the cell, and they don't happen other places of the cell. But whenever they happen in those places, it is random. Mm-hmm. Like ATP, it's formed and it's used in similar manner, pretty much the same manner throughout everything.
Yeah.
But the way that ATP does its stuff is through random molecular motions.
Yeah.
You have enzymes that bring ATP over, but molecular motions are due to randomness.
Yeah. But again, like, in biology, you do have these terms where you say, like, enzymes bring, like, that's like saying that there's a dude, like, pushing a cart, you know, but they don't.
Right, and that's, like I said, that's the hard thing about just science in general, is that most of the things that happen are completely random. They happen, but they're random.
Yeah.
They're designed so they happen, but they happen because they're random.
Yeah.
And, like I said, with enzymes bringing ATP over, I mean, I might be lying here, but enzymes catalyze reactions, and ATP will somehow manage to bump into an enzyme. That enzyme will then somehow manage to bump into its substrate, and then by doing that, it'll somehow yield a product. And that's just what happens.
And it's interesting because it's random, but it's exactly like it's random and it's not, because that's exactly what happens for it.
It's so randomly precise.
So. Yeah,
and that's what boggles my mind. Is like we've been discussing the cellular respiration in depth these past couple weeks in my class, and whenever you look at it, glycolysis has a set of 10 steps. The citric acid cycle has a set of 8 steps. I mean, these are pretty well.
I remember going over this in my biology class too, but like I'm sure you know each of the steps now.
Right. But each of those steps requires randomness to happen.
Yeah.
You don't just get glucose to bump into hexokinase. That just doesn't, like, it happens because it's random. There's hexokinase in the cytosol of the cell that bumps into the glucose that's in the cytosol of the cell, which causes the first reaction of glycolysis.
Yeah.
That's just what happens. And
then the next step.
And then the next step. Right.
And the next step.
But all those steps happen because of randomness.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, some of the enzymes and stuff that are embedded in the cell membrane might not change, and they're in the membrane, but the collisions that happen with them are completely random. Mm-hmm. They happen, but they're random.
And this is happening, like, all this randomness is happening, like, billions of times right now inside our body.
Yes. I forgot what it was exactly, but through cellular respiration, you produce water. That's the final electron acceptor is oxygen to form water. Mm-hmm. And I forgot exactly what the number is, but we produce more than like 2 liters of water per day from cellular respiration alone. Mm-hmm. That's what our cells produce. Mm-hmm. And I find that absolutely fascinating, because whenever you're talking about liters of water made every day from a single molecule of water, a single H2O. Mm-hmm. So whenever you multiply like 2 liters by... Whenever you figure out how many molecules that is, I mean, it's immense. It's more than the number of stars in our universe.
Yeah.
It's incredible that...
Well, I don't know how many stars in the universe, but...
A mole is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd, and that's per 18.02 grams of water. And I can't exactly do the math of how many grams of water in a liter, but it's much more than that.
God.
So you have...
So, forgive my ignorance, but each time that this cellular respiration process happens, it creates one molecule of water.
One molecule of water. So with each glucose... Well, I might be a little bit wrong here. But whenever the electron goes down the electron transport chain, the final electron acceptor is water. So per electron, might be per 2 electron, you get one molecule of water. So I can't do the exact math on how many. I think it's just 2 electrons you get from glucose.
How long does this step take? Like
from glucose to water?
Water.
I can't imagine it takes more than a few seconds at most. I mean, everything happens randomly, but it happens quickly.
Yeah.
So, from glycolysis through citric acid cycle through the electron transport chain, with the electron transport chain, you have an electron flowing through proteins. Electrons aren't slow. They're gonna zip through it.
Yeah.
So, the slow part of it would be the first step, the glycolysis and citric acid cycle. But I can't imagine that it's slow. It happens pretty fast. And
then you take all this cell stuff and then it expands into like what becomes us.
Right.
And then some of these cells are, tiny, and some of these cells are really long, like our neurons.
Right.
And so all of these neurons combine together to make the thing that causes us to be thinking and experiencing right now.
Right. And that's another thing I find interesting is that really what we're doing, what we're thinking, what we're saying, it's in a way not us. It's chemicals. It's atoms.
Yeah.
It's bonds. It's molecules.
Yeah.
So back to like the whole predestined thing in a way, or the
free will.
Free will. In a way, we really aren't. We are controlled by molecules and atoms.
This is something I mentioned Sam Harris a lot on this podcast by now. But he does talk about how we don't have free will. But then all of these like introspective, meditative, like Buddhist, Eastern type religions spend a lot of time trying to break the illusion of the self. And so whenever you just mentioned like it's not really us, but it's us, like that's sort of a scientific explanation to what Buddhists have been meditating about for hundreds of years. And so, in a way, it becomes a religious experience just through knowledge.
Right.
And so to think that, like, the cells make up what we experience, and for whatever reason we have, like, memories and experiences and all of that because whatever freaking magic happened randomly.
Yes.
To the very miracle that we can even be sitting here having a conversation into a microphone.
That's what boggles my mind.
We can't really think about that all the time. We just wouldn't function.
No.
And it's kind of nice that we don't have to think about it all the time because our brains are just stupid enough to not be that concerned about it.
Exactly. I love being stupid sometimes.
Yeah, it's great. Because if we had to, like, can you imagine having to tell each of your cells, you there, make water. You there, remember this thing. Hey, you know all the seeing that we're doing? Keep doing that. Feeling, do that. Food, keep processing that. And just like, oh gosh, it's so exhausting.
Yeah.
Having been like a leader in things, both of us, like being drum majors in band or whatever, like just having to deal with this many things at once.
It's tiring.
And that we
mentally
we didn't even have to deal with all of it at once.
Right.
And just going like, I have to do this thing, and as long as everyone else does their thing, I will be able to do this thing.
Right. And I mean, not even from just thinking about what every cell does, think about just walking. Think about walking. Think about telling your legs to do it. You can't. You're going to trip yourself trying to tell yourself what to do.
All of the cells and tendons and muscles to go contract, release, contract, release. But, this hinge has to go in this direction. This hinge has to go in this direction. Nope. Our stupid brains can't do it. Right. Like what we're experiencing as the self can't do it. But the rest of our brain that we're not experiencing is doing it. We're experiencing it in some form or another, but just in the sheer way that, like, this is just what walking is. Because we're so stupid that we can't even comprehend all of the things that are happening.
Can't even comprehend how our body works.
Yeah. And it's nice. Because, I don't know. I think I would hate it. I think...
so much thinking would have to be done.
There's a great song by Modest Mouse. It's called Bukowski. But he also talks about God. It's like, if God runs all the heavens and the earth and thinks about all the things that I'm going to do and all these things, but just who would want to be such a control freak?
Yeah.
It's a clever line, but
yeah, I don't want to do this myself. Why would I?
Yeah.
I don't.
But we don't even have to get into the God discussion because I did want to bridge into the music discussion. We both did drum majorly things.
Yes.
It's interesting because I had a very different experience than what you did. I talked about it on my first podcast, but I was a wee lad trying to handle the responsibility of not only being a leader in a marching band or whatever, which is a ridiculous thing in the first place, but also having to cope with the fact that I'm a pubescent boy turning into a man and trying to handle all of the emotions and hormones that are flooding my brain. And so I don't know if you remember it, but this was one of the more profound experiences in my life, that whenever I was ineligible for PC Classic, and I just went inside and just hated myself for a week, and then afterwards, whenever I didn't conduct, but I helped front ensemble get onto the field or whatever. That was an extremely humbling experience for me. And then going back out and having the directors basically going that was stupid of you. Why didn't you be more of an adult about it? And that was stupid of me. And that alone broke all of the introverted shyness, worried about things, and I was just it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Whenever I have to deal with these things, I have to be the best me I can be.
Right.
And so I don't think I've ever gotten to ask you about what your experience was like.
Yeah, I mean, mine was significantly more different than yours. And first off, I think for you it was really unfair. I mean, not to take away how you did or anything, but it was unfair to put you up there as drum major. That was an incredibly difficult year. We had completely switched assistant band directors. There was lots of change going on. And I mean, having senior drum majors up there alone was already it was difficult for them. To put a sophomore up there that only had 1 year of experience up there, it was borderline ridiculous.
And I mean, I'm happy to, and I'm privileged, and I'm glad to have had that experience, or else I wouldn't be who I am. But yeah, no, I definitely get
And I don't know if you remember me talking about it, but whenever I auditioned first drum major sophomore year, I told the band directors, I don't want to be drum major. I'm doing this only for experience.
Mm-hmm. I do remember that.
Because I knew I couldn't handle the pressure being a sophomore in high school. I needed more experience being in the band, being amongst other people. I wasn't ready for the commitment or the responsibilities.
Yeah.
And come senior year, I still wasn't ready for it. I still wasn't completely ready for all the responsibilities, all the nonsense I had to go through. And that was also a difficult year because we had a different assistant band director every single year in high school. Yeah. And junior year,
I think I'd rather not name names just for the sake of I
wasn't planning on it.
Yeah, okay. But just in case.
Junior year was one of the it was the roughest year ever in our high school for marching band. Ever. Yeah. There is no year that was worse than that.
Yeah.
We had staff problems. We had law problems. We had pretty much anything and everything you could think about we had that year.
Also, the assistant band director that year was awesome. I loved him. Mm-hmm. And I hated the fact that he didn't get to do what he wanted to do and then left without really getting to do,
Yeah, it was, I think it was really bad leaving terms. And I agree with you. I enjoyed him very much as a person. I enjoyed him as a teacher as well.
Yeah.
And the way that he left was a little bit less than honorable. So yeah, I completely agree. But coming out of that year, I knew that when I auditioned for drum major, I knew the next year was going to be incredibly difficult. Coming out of that year, morale was incredibly low. No one had any hope. I mean, people say you have to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And there was no light at the end of the tunnel. We were facing the complete opposite direction. We were looking right down more dark. So I knew auditioning, I would have to somehow turn people towards the light. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't going to be easy. And I actually did think for a long while whether I wanted to audition for drum major that year. Because it was going to be an incredible challenge coming out of junior year. Because we'd suffered so much that year. Yeah. I hate to use the word suffered, but it really was.
Yeah.
I mean, getting up every morning to go outside when it's freezing cold to do what we did, it was awful.
Just to do such a crappy show.
Yeah. And I think what made me most upset that year was staff telling us we were doing well and then going to contests and realizing how awful we were. Mm-hmm. If I'm doing awful, I want to know that I'm awful. Mm-hmm. I don't want people to sugarcoat it. I want people to tell me I suck. Yeah. Because if I know I suck, I can improve. Mm-hmm. And that year, we didn't ever really hear that we suck. Mm-hmm. We heard, good job, guys. Let's take it from the top again. We'll try a little bit better. So, again...
Yeah, and then, stuff happens. And, just sometimes you have a bad year. Whatever.
And coming out of that year, I knew that it was going to be rough because that was awful. But I did convince myself to audition, and I didn't give a perfect audition. My conducting wasn't on par, really. And it wasn't perfect, but I'm humbled that the director saw something in me. Yeah. So I'm glad that they chose me to be drum major.
Real quick, let me confide in you this thing. But this is just completely honest and completely I don't care about but why wasn't I drum major?
I honestly don't know. I think it was probably stigma from sophomore year. I think it was, I don't know, because I honestly thought it was going to be you.
Yeah. John and I want to say that I'm not bitter about it, but I can't. I'm bitter about it.
Right. And I really think you should have been drum major that year. I really do. And I don't know why, because Miss C and I don't even think Dane. Did Dane judge? Well, no.
I don't remember.
I don't know. Either way, I don't know. I don't remember who judged sophomore year, but I know one person stayed the same. Mm-hmm. And I think that one person had a significant voice and who became drum major senior year. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of disappointed that they couldn't see over sophomore year, couldn't see the improvement, couldn't see the change that was made, because I think being humble about your mistakes takes a lot. It speaks a lot of a person. I know that you were very humble about your mistakes. You told people that you made a mistake, that you made a mistake, you're better now, you've learned from it.
Yeah.
And you in fact were. You learned a whole lot from it. You're a different person from that mistake. And to not get the position because of that single mistake that was really the catalyst for a whole different person didn't make much sense to me. So I honestly don't know why. And
not only that, but and this is just, again, more personal just because I want to put this out here, but like the fact that like not only do you not pick me, who has experience in the role and has been humbled by the experience from that mistake, but for me personally, it was like, oh, so you'll just pick two of my best friends and not me.
Yeah.
Like, because everyone knew that, like, we were us.
Yeah.
And so, like, even still going back at, like, pictures from, like, Owasso contests where it was, like, you and John with the trophy or whatever, and I was, like, standing in between you. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know?
I really think it should have been about us three. And that would have made my life and Coley's life so much easier had it been that way. Because we had for North standards, we had a fairly large band our senior year. It wasn't the biggest, but it was a pretty big band. And to have two people in charge of, I think it was like 120 of us, it doesn't work. There was a lot of work that needed to be done that either didn't get done or got done really crappily.
And so what was it for you? Was it fun? Was it hard? Was it...
I will say that the first half of the season was far more fun than the last half, except for getting top 6 at OBA.
Yeah.
But after Owasso to OBA was a really rough patch. But before then, I absolutely loved it. I loved what I was doing. I loved waking up early in the morning, 5:45, wasn't an issue for me because I loved going out to the field and working with everyone. And I loved what I was doing. I loved helping people. I loved bettering people's lives, giving advice, and just sharing music with other people. And what really got me was I saw the spark in people's eyes whenever we finally hit the moment. I don't know how to describe it, but as musicians, you know the moment. Yeah. And it's that moment where it can be 150 degrees outside and you get chills. Like you get this chill down your spine, you feel cold. Yeah. And you can be sweating profusely and you'll still this chill. Yeah. And that's the moment. And I remember getting that first moment and looking at other people's eyes, and they all had the same moment and sharing that moment with everyone. And that was when I loved what I was doing. Yeah. That's when I knew that what I was doing was worth it. All the sweat, all the blood I was putting into it, the calluses on my hands, the sore arms, everything that I was doing was worth it at that point. And so like the first half of the season was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. But then towards the latter half, things just started falling out. I guess I really can't mention names. But,
I mean, we already said acronyms, but you could say C's and... all right.
Yeah, so the last half of the marching band season was pretty rough. So it was just myself and another drum major that had all the responsibilities for everything. And about the last half of the season, the other drum major kind of decided that he didn't want to put in his part of the work. So that left me dealing with about 80% of all the work and about 20%, being pretty liberal with the amount of work he was doing. Yeah. And it all started, I think, back when we had percussion rehearsals on Thursday nights, and the assistant band director was wanting one of us to be there, at least.
I do remember.
So I went the first week, and then closer to the second week. Well, Coley talked to me, and he was like, I can't be there, I'm busy. So I was like, okay, I'll fill in for you, I'll go. The third week came, I'm busy, I can't go. Like, okay, guess I'll do it again. And then the fourth week came, he's like, I'm busy, I can't go. I was like, are you really busy? He's like, I have things to do. I have like some homework or whatever. Like, I have homework too. Yeah. I've spent these past weeks doing homework after these rehearsals. So don't give me that. Yeah. And so he's like, well, fine, I'll show up. So he showed up, and it pretty much consisted of him sitting on the podium for the whole entire time while I did all the work. So he was there, but he wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it really only got worse from there. During the mornings, we'd load the podiums in the pickup, and that'd be about all we did to set things up. I'd put up the podiums myself. I'd do most of the work. And then on Wednesdays, we were supposed to have, they were like music memorization tests. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that we were supposed to do was to go around to each section and conduct with them through the music to make sure that they got the stuff memorized. Mm-hmm. And like for a warm up and a practice. So that's what we were supposed to do. I remember this. There was one Wednesday where Coley was nowhere to be found. And no one knew where he went. He was there, but he just disappeared. Yeah. So he wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing. And to find out, he took a podium out to the marching band field and was asleep on the podium. He put the podium up to sleep on to avoid doing any work. Mm-hmm. And from there on out, it was pretty much every day after rehearsal, he'd get breakfast and then he'd lie down on the couch, take a nap. I'd be the one that would sort through drill cards, would do all the work, would get everything ready for the next day, and then repeat every single day. Yeah. So there was a huge falling out between us because it was me doing all the work, him doing next to nothing, and somehow or another he kept on getting credit for everything I was doing. Yeah. And I'm pretty non-confrontational, and if someone's getting credit for something I'm doing, I tend to just kind of shrug it off. But after 2 or 3 weeks...
It's one of my pet peeves, actually.
it is one of mine, too, but I tend not to call people out on it, which is something I need to work on. But after 2 or 3 weeks of this happening, it really just started to annoy me that people were so grateful for having their drill cards in a nice, neat order, and here he was getting credit for it. Yeah. And he's not putting in any work. And I think the day that I really got upset was when one of the kids came up to Cole and was like, "You're my favorite drum major because I think you do the most work." And that about killed me. That about killed me. That I see him come to rehearsals late, not do any work, sleep on the couch. I do all of the work. Not all the work, but a good majority of all the work. And to have students think that he's the one that does the most work. That just about wrecked my whole entire season, was knowing that he's getting all the credit for doing everything I'm doing. Yeah. And I'm, in most everybody's eyes, not the head drum major, not the one that's doing the work. Yeah. So, suffice to say, the first half of the season was much better than the last half. Yeah. But once we got top 6, everything dissipated a little bit. But there's still that negative connotation to that.
I never, I mean, obviously I wouldn't have been able to, but I had never actually noticed.
And that was one of the things that there were rehearsals whenever he came in very, very upset about being there, very upset about having to do work. And I think this all happened whenever he realized that he wasn't head drum major, that he decided that since he's assistant, he doesn't have to do work. So he'd come in very upset about, I guess, not getting the head drum major position. But I tried my hardest to make sure that whatever was going on between us wasn't on the field. Yeah. Because if what we're doing on the field, or what we're doing, happens to get on the field, it happens between every single person. Yeah. It will divide the whole entire band. So I knew that if that got on the field, the whole season would be ruined. All the work that we had put in up to this point, might as well just throw it in the trash, go home, pack the buses. Yeah. Start concert band. So I'm glad to say that it never really projected on the field because I tried my very hardest for that not to happen.
No, I never really noticed. And honestly, this was one of the times when I actually was really close to Coley. I think my senior year was like whenever we were like the closest. And I think by the end of that year, I was like sick of him by how much we had been together. Like and so like I don't know if he felt the same way, but like, you know, it's one thing to spend a lot of time with someone who you can say is your best friend. It's another thing to spend so much time with that best friend to just like I know it like to where we don't even have to finish each other's sentences because we like we're there and we don't even have to finish the sentence because it's like, no, I already know what you're talking about.
Right.
Like, and so in a strange way, like, I don't know why I didn't see it. Like,
and I think what upset me the most about all this was that you and I have been friends since 6th grade. Mm-hmm. He and I have been friends since 1st grade.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known him for the better part of our whole lives. Mm-hmm. And to get the disrespect I got that year, it was just, it was completely dumbfounding to me that I have this best friend that's treating me like this. Mm-hmm. And in a way, it was betrayal, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very rough, to say the least.
I do at least want to talk about, this is something I've like blogged about back when I had a blog. But why music? Because, and this isn't so much for like interview sake, but just to talk about it. Because one of the reasons I like very like simple logical reasons as to why music is kind of because it's short. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Like, as far as like making a skyscraper or like combating climate change or whatever, like as far as music goes, it's fairly short term. Like, and not even from like the working on it side, but just like the experiencing it side. Mm-hmm. So if like a normal contemporary song is like, what, 30 seconds? Yeah. Like 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah. And then like a fairly long one would be like 6 to 7 minutes. Yeah. But that's short. Like, that's really short. And you get like this very huge experience from a short amount of time. Mm-hmm. And even going into like classical music, stuff that's like, you know, even some of the longer like symphonies and stuff, it's still like 4 hours. Like, what is that?
I mean, yeah.
And so even though a lot of work went into it, like, it's not the same as like, this is the Empire State Building in it. Mm-hmm. Like, here it is, and it lasts forever, and like,
debatable.
All this, well, no. But like,
yes.
But to like work so hard for something that in a positive sense is a nice big experience right then, but in a negative way too, like the moment fizzles away anyways. Yeah. Like, you only really remember like half of the moments anyways.
Right.
And the audience definitely doesn't remember most of it. So like, for you like, you know, science and medicine and all this, but like, you still put in the work to try and do music.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, for one, it's the experience I have with other people. As working with the bassoon studio at OCU, I'm working with some of the very best people that there are in the world. Some of the best people I've come to know. And so a lot of it's just getting to spend time with them. Music is just something that kind of brings us together. Mm-hmm. But being with them is why I really like what I'm doing. But music as a whole, I like it for the moments it has. Like like I talked about, the moments where you get the chills. Yeah, you tend to forget almost all music experiences you have.
Yeah.
Like, you don't remember that mistake you made in measure 43 of that sonata. Yeah. You don't remember that. But you remember that moment you had whenever everyone hit that power chord at the same time and released all together, and you had this echo. You remember that moment. That moment never leaves you. You think about that moment, you get the chill, the same exact chill down your spine that you did that same time it happened. And I live for that. That's why I like music.
And in a similar way, like, that's your Empire State Building.
Exactly.
Like, it does last.
It lasts forever. Exactly.
Debatable, but
debatable.
But yeah, like the connection that you have, one with other people, but also just like with the music itself.
Right.
And that it's its own language, it's its own like.
It's almost like its own being, and that's it's so interesting that you can think of music as its own being. It has the has the notes you can compare with cells. It has the phrasing, the structure you can call the skeleton. And you have the work as a whole, the body. And whenever you craft it in such a way, you have this perfect being. And granted, music comes with mistakes, but so does everyone else. So in a way, you can really compare music to humans, to people, in its own being. That's what makes it beautiful.
But in a very different way, like, it's because I have to do this to myself every once in a while, because I know that I'm pursuing a career in music, and so, like, yes, we can sit and be like, these moments are like magical and wonderful and stuff, but it's all meaningless. It's all a moment flashing away. What even is a bassoon, anyways?
I still yet to know. No idea. Let's figure that out.
And so, like, to like sit down and be like, this whole music thing is arbitrary. It doesn't matter. It, like, I don't feed my cells with it. I don't have I don't make money off of it yet, and it's very hard to do so.
Right.
I have to, like, look at what I'm doing and go, yeah, but I love it. But also acknowledge it's meaningless. It has absolutely nothing to do with anything.
Yeah. And that's the crossroads.
It's so powerful.
Exactly. And that's the crossroad I was at. Because believe it or not, back, I think it was sophomore year of high school, I really thought about going to music ed. Because I love music. I love what it did. And then as I went on through high school, I really decided that music is a great thing to have on the side. Because as much as I like music, I can't see myself, one, doing it for the rest of my life. Like, having a career out of it. And two, I hate to say that it has no meaning or no value in society.
It does.
It does. But for me, I don't see how I could be a huge impact to society with it. I feel like I'm much more, I don't know, my actions are much more worthwhile in other things in society. And that's why I chose medicine, because I feel like I can be extremely helpful in that aspect. While with music, I mean, no one really needs to hear a bassoon. I mean, it's the instrument that's seen and not heard. That's what we are. And so coming to terms with the fact that, yes, what I'm doing, and for me, is really meaningless. Like, it has nothing for me. What I'm doing is for my own happiness. It has no effect on really anyone else. And knowing that that's okay, and then also going into science and knowing that that's what I want to do, that's where I am right now with music. It's something that has meaning in the world, but it doesn't work for me.
Yeah. And it sucks because I agree with you 100%, and I'm still, like, insanely just going in that direction anyway.
And that's the power of those moments.
Right?
Because when you really think about it, those moments that I have, I wouldn't trade for $1 million. Those are the moments that whenever I feel like crap on a day, I think back to, and those make me smile.
Yeah.
And when I think about music and why I do it, I think back to those moments. And those moments have no monetary value.
Yeah.
There's nothing I'd buy with those moments. Nothing I'd trade for those moments.
And then all of the experiences in between, all of the hard work in between, knowing that it pays off in some, again, arbitrary way, but it pays off in knowing that you can work this hard on something. If you couldn't work so hard on music, like, would you work as hard on, like, studying for, like, cell molecular biology?
And I think that that's where music has helped me a lot, because music taught me dedication. Music taught me hard work. And it showed me that by working hard and by putting in the time and the effort, things happen. Granted, they do take a very long time, but things happen. And that's something I was able to put into my current science-y, majory stuff.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I am taking the most rigorous major that is available at my university. It is hell, and I mean, it's awful. I love what I'm doing, but it's awful.
Yeah.
You have to be kind of a masochist to do what I'm doing. And I kind of think I am in a way. Because I love what I'm doing, and I love the amount of studying I'm doing. I love the work I'm doing, but at the same time, it's absolutely horrible. Yeah. I mean, I know that this isn't good for me.
Yeah.
But I love it. And that music taught me that it's okay to do things that probably aren't great for you, because I worked so hard with many things in music.
Yeah.
I spent hours upon hours practicing until my lips bled.
Yeah.
I know that's not good. And I've spent hours upon hours practicing when I know that I probably should have been spending my time with my family, but I knew that I needed to get this done so I could do my very best, because if I'm not doing my best, it's not worth doing. And I use that in my study, and I use that in my science major stuff.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not trying my best, it's not worth doing.
Yeah. And it's so great to be able to, like, look at what you have done and you have succeeded musically and otherwise, and going like, I did that, and then going like, bassoons are funny.
Exactly. And if you talk to any bassoonist, they're the exact same way as I am. That, yeah, they'll talk about how great music is, and they'll hold the bassoon in high regard, and then like, it's really probably the stupidest instrument out there. I spend hours upon hours practicing.
It's a bunch of fart noises, man.
Exactly. I practice the dumbest instrument known to man that can't be heard. But that's all bassoonists, and that's the way we are.
And I mean, I don't play trombone as much anymore. I have braces, and so I can't. But like, I'm taking guitar lessons, bass lessons, voice lessons, and composition lessons, which is hell because I already have 19 credit hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so, because like, even though each of those lessons is like 1 credit hour, it really means like 3 credit hours. But like, being able to like sit down and go like, I can play all the modes on bass. Like, what even is that? It doesn't matter. And you don't really use the modes that often anyways. But I can do it.
Right.
I can like put my finger somewhere and play that scale. At what cost? So that I can do it better later and make something cool out of it, maybe.
Right.
I don't know.
And music as its own entity it's something to regard. But like I was talking about, music is something to learn from. It teaches you how to do things. And like I was saying, music taught me that if I half-ass something, it's just not worth doing. And that's also when I realized that my music pre-med major wasn't worth doing. Yeah. Because, like you were saying about having to do your guitar lessons, your bass lessons, your vocal lessons, your composition lessons, yeah, it's a credit hour. But you're spending at least 3 hours on each of those instruments, probably per day, and at least a week. And then, for me, I was doing that with bassoon. And I
don't do enough as I should practice.
Exactly.
Gosh, there's not enough time in the day.
And I was taking 2 credits of bassoon. That's an hour-long lessons. And whenever you do that, you're supposed to practice at least 3 hours a day. Yeah. So I had to practice 3 hours a day, and I was in all of the ensembles. So that was 2 hours per day, every day of the week. So that alone right there is 5 hours practicing per day. And that's not counting my lectures or anything. Along with my music class homework, and then on top of my science class homework. I mean, I was doing 18 hours of just credits, and then 5 hours of rehearsal and practice per day. Yeah. So really, when it came down to it, my biggest thing is if I'm half-assing, it's not worth doing. I wasn't only half-assing my practicing and lessons. I was half-assing everything. Yeah. So I decided it wasn't worth doing.
So that you could actually kind of manage to live this life.
Exactly. And it was awful. I hated it. I mean, I love studying the science, but I like studying the music, but I hated the practicing. I hated the rehearsals. For a while, I really hated music. I enjoyed learning about music, but I hated doing music. Yeah. And that's when I realized that this half-assing thing wasn't working out. I needed to do something for the better, pretty drastic.
Yeah.
I needed to drop it.
Yeah.
Something that I've done for the past 6, 8 years.
Yeah.
I needed to be done with it.
And then for me, like, the moments, again, and I don't know if I've talked to you specifically about it, but, like, I want to compose music for video games. That's kind of the most recent thing that I've landed on, and it stayed pretty for a while. So the moments that you have whenever, like, composition creates a lot of moments. A lot of those moments. One moment is whenever the idea comes up. Or whenever idea doesn't come up, and you just kind of just, like, pull it out of nothing. And you're just like, I'm just screwing around. Here's what comes out, you know? And then, like, the second moment is like, whoa, this is good. Like, this is really good. Like, I like this.
Yeah.
And I keep playing it back, and I'm like, damn, I'm pretty good. Like, not to be, like, conceited about it, but, like, this is awesome.
Good.
And then, like, but that's just, like, the idea. Like, it's not even finished.
Yeah.
And then, like, you finish the idea, and you're like, whoa, I did that. Like, and here it is all, like, wrapped up in there. And then what I'm thinking is that, and I'm seeing glimpses of it already, that I've gotten into, like, the software that, like, implements the music and sounds into a video game. And so just seeing, like, you put this thing here and it attaches to this, and then whenever you do this thing in the game, this sound plays. And, like, seeing that, like, just a little, like, I press a button and the sound plays. Like, that's like Pavlov, like, reward, like.
That's your drool.
That's immediate reward right there. You press a button, reward.
Yeah.
And so being able to, like, put music in a game and go, like, whenever this happens, this little sound comes up, and then, like, this music will play, and then just, like, along with all the moments of going, like, this is good. And then it's really good here.
Yeah.
The moment is powerful enough for me to waste my life on it.
Like I said, with those moments, there's no monetary value.
Yeah.
Those are, there's no exchange for them. It's better than
but I do require money.
Exactly. You require payment. You have to live.
That's the other hard part. That and it's something that they talk about at ACM a lot. That, like, yes, like, this is, like, you can't put a value on it at all, but you have to, because this is your living and you have to receive money for it. Which is why earlier I had mentioned, like, why would you pick a performance major? Because it's hard enough being the best at something, especially something that already exists. And so for someone like you to go, I like bassoon. I want to play the shit out of this bassoon.
Yes.
Because there's some shit in there.
I
know. And to go, like, not you, obviously, but for someone else to go, I want to be good enough to where I don't do anything else but play this instrument or sing well enough to where I live off of it. Like, some people live off of, like, saving people's lives. Some people live off of, like, being on TV or being on movies. Some people, like, but I want to be so good at this instrument that people pay me enough for me to pay for a house and maybe even some kids.
Right. You have to be some yo-yo ma to do that.
Yeah.
And,
oh gosh.
yeah, and it's so sad the failure rate is exponential. Like, it's ridiculously high with that type of deal.
Yeah.
And people always say you need to follow your dreams. But I always, like, for me, it's kind of like follow your dreams unless you're a crappy musician. Because you can love music, but if you're a crappy musician, you will get absolutely nowhere. And I mean, it's hard to say that, but it's true. I mean, granted, that's the way it is with most things. If you're a crappy doctor, you'll practice in Arkansas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, pick a place where you won't get sued as much.
So
the suing is inevitable, but
sued
not
as
much.
Exactly. But yeah, with music performance, that I tip my hat to all people that go the route of that major, because it takes balls to do it. You have to believe that you're either the best or you're going to be the best or among the best to do what you're going to do. And to have that kind of self-confidence, one, I think is a little bit dangerous, but two, is something I wish I could have.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so...
I mean, that's why Kanye West is who he is, though.
Damn, his music's good.
Like, to know that, like, if Kanye West wasn't an asshole, like, his music wouldn't be as good.
Right.
And I don't listen to Kanye West very much, but I do know for the people that do listen to him that it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And so, but you couldn't have music that good and have Kanye be a nice guy too.
Yeah.
Like that's not going to happen.
Yeah. You have to have the asshole, and then you get the good music.
And so, like, or at least that kind of good music, you know? Like, I try my best to be a nice guy, and I try my best to make really good music, but maybe at some point there's going to be a bridge that I have to cross and be like, I could make the best music ever and be a jerk, but I like having friends.
Right.
And
tough bridge to come
by. And that bridge will probably end up with me keeping friends, because one of my favorite things is talking to people like we're doing so right now. Like we have done so for probably far too long now. And so once again, I didn't give an introduction to this one. So since you've been listening for this amount of time, you have been welcomed to Bit Def. I'm Santiago Ramones. This is Jordan Brannon. Jordan Brannon, once again, where can we find you on the internet?
I am on Twitter on jbreezy. That's JBREEZZZZYY. Three Z's, two Y's. And then on Instagram on JKBrannon, BRANNAN.
And then for me, you can find all of the stuff that I do along with this podcast on SantiagoRamones.com. Thank you for listening.